Hi, this is Dawn, making a quick recording of a vision that I had yesterday, September 22nd, 2016, on the fall equinox in the evening. And I'm doing that so I can hopefully one day paint this and also to share it with you all. So you might want to see my Facebook post, which is a little more detail in this. But I was walking yesterday evening by the still waters where I live, and was just reflecting on the day as usual, and just suddenly I had this enormous feeling of such a great love, and just out of nowhere. And what I saw in my heart and in my mind's eye all at once was a crystal river, like waters that were crystal but fluid, gushing down, pouring down from the heavens, and actually from everywhere all around, and then that crystal river shut off into streams of light that were in a wave pattern. And what I saw, just sort of in this vision, was people just all around the globe being lit up by that light in their third eye area and their forehead, and creating sort of star patterns and waking them up, so to speak. And then there was on the sides of this gushing crystal river, which was not one linear path, but it actually was like, it's hard to describe, like multiple rivers on different levels. In any case, on each side of this gushing crystal waters that were so sparkly, beautiful, just amazing, there was this lush landscape, not quite like anything I've ever seen before. So the greens, like my Ireland, just everywhere, all shades of green. And there were fruit trees. In particular, there were some very large trees that were just with abundant fruit on them, and they appeared to have different types of fruit on a single tree. And there were pastures and meadows, and it was just this sort of intricate landscape. And again, it came very quickly, so it was just all there at once. In addition, there were some birds. I believe they were eagles, but there were some larger birds that were soaring high above this scene. And like the whole feeling of this vision was just, it was bliss and glory, and like this feeling of fulfillment and completion, which seems so perfect in terms of this year, what it has felt like for me anyway. And I've heard many talking about this idea of completion. So that was the vision, and it was what I will say also is, in the vision, so there were these streams, beautiful wave of the crystal light that were just like flowing and reaching people everywhere. And then the star on the foreheads, it was a very active. It wasn't a fixed, like, oh, you had a star on your forehead. It was like a living thing, and it expanded each person really, really amazingly. And there was into sort of a larger etheric field, I guess you would call it. And what I also want to say is that there were in this vision still pockets in the background of these green, lush meadows where it was like the landscape was still there, but it wasn't it wasn't as illuminated by this beautiful, sparkly, white, golden, platinum kind of light everywhere. And so there were, I don't know exactly what that was about, but anyway, there were areas that weren't illuminated. Okay, so that was the basic vision that I had. And somehow the scene, the words, the crystal river, and just the whole scene, and the words that I was thinking at the time. And I'm sorry, I cannot seem to grasp the exact phrase that was in my awareness. and I'm driving right now, so you can't go look it up. But I had a phrase that kept coming to me, and something kept saying to me, "You know this scene." You know this scene, and I had never seen anything like it, so I was like, I don't know, but the words were ringing, and I'm a writer, and I love words, and so I Googled it, and come to find out, it was the words and the actual scene itself, to me, when I read this again, were aligned very much with the final chapter in the Bible, in Christianity, the Bible, and the New Testament, Revelation 22, and I'll put the words below in the post, because I'm driving, and I don't want to cite them. I kind of know the gist of it, but I'd rather you read the exact passage. And I just found that so amazing and perfect. And if you read this passage, you'll see that the scene was the final words written by the author of Revelation, reported to be the Apostle John, and he sees an angel, and this angel comes and he gives him a few warnings and conveys some information, and then there is Jesus, who is called the bright and morning star in this chapter of Revelation. And that bright and morning star description of Jesus and the Christ was very relevant. When I was reading it, first of all, it's one of my favorite descriptions of Jesus, but besides that, when I was reading this chapter, when I found it, it was like that idea of Jesus as the bright and morning star, and what Jesus says. So the angel's talking to John, and then Jesus says, "In the Alpha and the Omega, the bright and morning star, and I am coming soon." And there's a passage in there, the language, if you'll read it below, where what he is saying is, well, first of all, the Greek used for I Jesus is actually plural, which really resonated for me personally on a number of levels. One, this idea of the Trinitarian concept of God, but also what I perceive in the recent video I did about creation and light and creation. In the beginning was light, and that light, there was that threefold flame in my video, and then there was also the 3-in-1 concept was there as well. So it's always at the core about relationship, and God in relationship with God, and that being made manifest through us. And the crystal river scene that I saw also really connected something for me in terms of that inner relationship, that inner harmony flowing out to light us all up, and each of us is, sort of an individual representation of that light energy of God. And so this scene, while it could be something that actually happens, but it also, to me, is very reflective of the energetic way that when we understand that we are not only in relationship with God, source energy, but we are a unique representation of it, and also a reflection of the whole, and a part of that pattern that is essential, and our particular quality of light contributes something that nothing else and no one else does. And so this whole vision was a reminder of that for me. So it was really, really beautiful. I kind of lost my train of thought there on Jesus. There was something else I was going to say about. So he says, "I Jesus, coming soon," and he is talking about how, like, we've asked for this. To me, that's what it's saying. The bride being representative of the church in Revelation, and can be interpreted in a number of ways, I think, and the Spirit. So again, in this relationship, and the dynamics of our energetic participation is really, really key here. And it's something that, sorry, I got distracted there driving. It's something that we need to keep in mind that that we are full participants in our own process, in the own unfolding. So while, yes, something might happen one day, whatever that may be, and however you may see that, and there are so many different perspectives on that. I'm not going to get into that right now, but what I will say is that what seems to be most important to me is that we understand that we are full participants in that, in what happens. There are varying levels of interpretation. Do we create it all? Is it all just, a matrix that's playing out? Or are other civilizations involved? Blah, blah, blah. So there's plenty of different interpretations, but the key point to me is that we are full participants, okay? So what do you desire? What kind of world do you want to live in? How do you want to let your light shine? What is your vision for the complete experience of fulfillment and love and honor and joy and bliss and blessing and whatever else it is that you are desiring? Love, harmony, peace. What's your vision? What do you want? What are you longing for? Because that does make a difference, and that was something I just really wanted to convey. So please do read what I post below, because I think there are many, many levels at which this is important for us to understand. I want to be clear that while I do have a very strong love and connection for Jesus, and yes, my background is Christianity, and I do still walk in the way of Jesus, this is not exclusive whatsoever. And to me, the vision itself is a broad one that is for all people of all faiths, of all cultures, of all backgrounds, of all races, and of all unique representations of the one light. So that was the vision that I had on September 22nd, 2016, and thanks for listening. Lots of love to each of you. Bye-bye.